Hi, I'm Robert Patterson, and this is Inspire. So, today we're going to talk about my story and how I got started in my career and my business and everything that I've done in my life. And it really happened when I was young. When I was 13, I started my first website. It was a gaming website, and I used to do online advertisements. And this is um, way back, that would have been in 1998. And that's how I got started with a website. And I don't know what it was. I don't know what drove me to do that. I just always had that inclination, that excitement of trying to grow something, to grow a business, to get people to come see me and what I'm doing. And I can remember I was getting these checks or not checks, actually cash in the mail from these advertisers when I was young, and my parents opened one of them up, and they're like, "What is going on here?" But anyway, that's how I started my business career. Before that, I did a lot of different things. I still used to sell burned CDs in school and stuff when I was, 10, 11 years old and whatnot. But then it really got started in college. In college, I started an eBay business, and I would sell cell phones. I'd actually drive to Miami, pick up cell phones that had been shipped from China, and then resell them on eBay. And the margins weren't great, maybe 10, 20%, but it was exciting. I can remember at one point I had like $10,000 worth of cell phones in my little apartment dorm room thing, and I was so nervous. I would lock my door every time I left. And those were those Razor flip phones, and I would sell those things, and I'd be going to the UPS store, the FedEx store, whatever, every day, shipping those out. And that's how that's how I felt was like real money. Started to make some real money doing it. And I loved doing it. It was fun for a year or whatever it was. But I started the business that I still run today when I was, let's say, 21 years old. What happened was, in between undergraduate and grad school during that summer, I bought a bunch of vending machines and I put them out all over town. And I absolutely hated going out and servicing vending machines. I decided that was absolutely not what I wanted to do with my life. But what I did learn was some sales skills and how to get machines into businesses, how to convince businesses that they should let you put a vending machine in there for free. It doesn't cost them anything, but I'm not paying them anything either to put it in there. And I learned that skill, and then I started hiring people to do that for me. And what happened was people started asking me for that service. So it was kind of a need-based thing. And I think that's a key thing in business, is find a need and fulfill that need. And that's what I did. And that's how my business began. And I think this is an important lesson for anyone starting out in business and looking for inspiration and stuff. It doesn't matter how something starts. You never know how something's going to begin. But just go along that journey, and you're going to learn a lot through that journey. I learned a lot. One of the biggest things I learned starting out my first company, my first real company, was that I couldn't manage it all on Excel spreadsheets. I couldn't manage everything, workers and clients and income and profit and loss statements and everything else. It was just a hodgepodge. I can remember showing some of my graduate school buddies. I was going to grad school to get my MBA. I was showing them my spreadsheets, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, how are you running this company on these spreadsheets?" It was insanity. I was working a ton of hours, and it brought me the revelation that I needed systems to run my business. So one of the biggest things I did was I spent 6 months to a year developing a software system, hiring people to write it out. I did it very cheaply, $2,000 or less, to create a software system just for my business to manage a lot of the day-to-day minutia and all the numbers and all the client interaction and that kind of thing. And I built the first version out. It probably took me a year or 2 years maybe to actually build that first version. It took me way longer than I ever thought it would, but it was a great learning experience. I learned so much about development. Don't get too in depth. Do the do the most minimalistic thing you possibly can, and then grow from there. But I didn't know that lesson back then. I went full on out. I wanted the absolute best thing I could possibly get. But anyway, finally I got it working. After a year or two, I had this software system to help me manage my business. And that was a massive learning lesson for me. I went from a work week that was 40 to 60 hours to a work week that was 5 hours. And that time savings gave me the opportunity to spend a lot more time reading, a lot more time learning about business, a lot more time for personal self-growth, and a lot of things. If you're watching this right now, it should be about personal self-growth, learning from others, right? That's a really important thing. So I learned those systems, and that business I started when I was 21. I'm 32 now. And until about a year ago, not much changed. That business pretty much ran itself. In the meantime, I was saving up money. I bought a couple rental properties, and I started renting those out. And that was a big learning lesson too. Buying rentals and finding people to their vacation rentals, finding people to come weekly and rent them. In fact, when I bought my first one, it wasn't supposed to be a rental. It was supposed to be a place for me to live. And I was there for about 2 months. And Christmas time came up, and I said, hey, I'm going to try and rent this. And I started renting it for a couple of weeks during Christmas, and I never came back. But you kind of just got to follow the money, follow what's happening in your life. But so that led me to the next venture I'm in right now, which is more of a full-on marketing company. And I began that about a year ago. And this marketing company now makes, in less than a year, it makes more money than the previous business. And I still have the previous business. But it was amazing to me, starting something new, how much those lessons I learned from the first company applied to this. It gave me such a head start. And there weren't so many things that I had to change during the course of the business because I learned those lessons. So I started out the right way. And I think that's a really key point, is that make sure that whatever you're doing, you take those lessons, you learn those lessons, and you apply those lessons to the next thing, the next stage, the next business, the next job, the next career, whatever the case may be. You always want to be perpetually learning new skills and applying those new skills so everything is much easier for you. And now that's kind of led me to this, starting Inspire. I love helping entrepreneurs. I love helping anyone who is, feels like they're a little bit stuck in life. They need some inspiration. They need some guidance. Maybe they just need someone to sit there and say, hey, listen, this is what you need to be doing. So anyway, that's my story. My name is Robert Patterson. This is Inspire. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.